3 to 4.
Historic all the same.
Yeah, very much so. Sorry if I get got the overlay fixed there. Yeah, historic nonetheless. That is very true because, I mean, they've had a lot of practice to figure out their program. And it looks like it's rubbing off onto the JV team right now as well. It's not just varsity, because JV, once again, they definitely matter all the same because, again, they're going to be the future, more than likely, of UBC. We might be seeing that here right now as Boyru, Mirror Knight, Luminous, and Mikado, they're all ruggies. They're all very capable of holding their own. I'd like to see them in the future go to the varsity team, but we have to get through that through the JV side of things first, of course. And we are actually in game number 2 in a best of 3 series. UCI, UBC up 1. We're in banning phase right now. Caitlyn and Rise being banned away by UBC. Kha'Zix and Zaya being banned away by UCI.
Yeah, we'll see what else they do opt to go for on the table here. Zach, no surprises there. Things relatively unchanged from the side of UBC. Now, UCI had the Zaya first pick last time around. They say it's too important to give over to Makoto. We don't want that run through. They're going to ban it away this time, make sure it does not end up in an area that can, cause some headaches there. So, don't want Makoto taking that one out. Lee Sin as well denied to Boyru, so means the Kaisa is on the option there. Makoto feels like he did well with it last game around, wants to feel that same level of comfort, gonna lock that one in. Say thank you very much.
Very much so, as we do see that Kaisa being such a prominent pick in League of Legends lately. Collegiate-wise or other, Kaisa is an extremely powerful pick. No reason not to first pick that one. Makoto did great with it in game number 1. I want to take that into game number 2 as we see a Braum coming in, and that's actually a nice pick. I like Braum. I feel like Braum is very underrated right now, considering you can block so many things. Not to mention Ornn. If anyone picks
Call the
Ornn,
Forge God, yeah,
completely shuts Call of the Forge God down, which is a huge initiation. Multitask, gotta go back onto that Trundle, feeling comfortable with that one. Boyru, with his pocket picks, might be going on to a Nidalee this time.
Now, we do have to take everything we see here with a little bit of a grain of salt. We do know that since the players do need to be in top-down order, LCS style, occasionally with the proxy, they might have to call on a proxy pick. If they do so, they'll let us know. Of course, that would mean it's just a filler position to run through the pick and ban phase. They communicate this through one another. This is all well within the rule book, so everything's okay there. It would just mean that we remake the lobby and run it down at the right time, but obviously for the actual draft, that does mean something or other. Now, Swain, something we saw get through the first round last time, was banned in the second round. This time around, they say, hey, you know what? We're not going to wait for you to ban that one out again. They're going to flex that one mid or top. More than likely mid. I feel like most Swains tend to go to that mid lane, but you never know. And so with that last pick option, that's a strong role to have flex potential in.
Very much so. I mean, Swain is just great to have no matter what. And yeah, flexing to the top is great because Swain, as an AD caster, great into melee champions. That's no problem. It's very telegraphed what a melee champion is going to do when he goes up and farms. That's great for Swain. He can throw down his root and displacement, and then throw his combo down as well. Very nice play for Swain. In the mid lane, though, he's also just a great power pick, being able to sustain and also dive in onto the enemy whenever it hits level 6. Coordinate ganks with his jungler. Also shove waves very quickly too with his combo. He's kind of a all-around great pick right now in the meta, as we do see Cassiopeia being denied from Luminous, which Cassiopeia is a very big counter to Swain, which tells me that Swain is going to be in that mid lane.
Well, they're at least leaving the door open there. They don't want that one taken off the table, and their flex pick ruined just by a good Cassio coming in. Luminous also played it incredibly well last time around. Shen banned out for Mirror Knight and not Baka on the Varus. I absolutely love this champion. I love watching it play. I love watching it get kills. I love watching it get killed. This just makes me so happy, Fekes.
That's an interesting take. Get killed and get kills, but
just to be there in general.
Chain of corruption setups. Yeah, go on.
The participation trophy of League of Legends for me. I'm just glad. I'm glad it's here.
Yeah,
everybody gets it.
Chain of corruption setups are very fun to see, but they're also just great for team fights, and that's something that they kind of have don't have on UC Irvine. They don't have that big lockdown initiation. Of course, they have the Braum ult, but Chains of Corruption would really help that out. Now, on the other side, though, we have a Darius and an Anivia coming out, along with that Nidalee, that wild card Nidalee, but Darius in that top lane, that's going to be interesting. Now, if they do lock in over on the side of UCI, this Malphite, I'm going to get very excited and hope that he's going mid lane, because they just buffed Malphite, gave him a huge AP buff and an ultimate cooldown buff as well. So he's actually has a lower cooldown. Gonna lock that one in. Anxious to see where he goes. Now the problem with him going mid is he has no wave clear. Now coming into the mid to late game during team fights, during sieges, you have Varus and Swain to make up for that. So Malphite more than likely gonna go top. I don't think anybody's really gonna get into my method of League of Legends, how to play it, go mid lane Malphite, but AP Malphite
should have cast.
AP Malphite is no joke right now, and I don't think he's gonna go super AP in the top lane. I think you're still gonna see a tank, but Malphite is pretty powerful right now. Going in against a Darius though, that one's gonna be interesting. I'd actually give that edge to Darius, but overall Malphite's great for a team fight composition. That's something that UCI has drafted very well right now.
Now, last game, you mentioned on something that Trundle not as effective when there are not many tanks on the board. UBC corrected this problem by drafting Shen, this time without Shen. They bring it on over to Darius in the top lane. It's a Nidalee jungle, Anivia and Kaisa as damage dealers on the bot side. This is not a tank-heavy team coming out from the side of UBC here. This is a get-in-your-face, kill you, find the picks that we want, and then maybe set up an extended siege/poke type deal. But this is not a tanky team in the slightest coming out from UBC.
No, they have to really rely on Cosmic Radius from Regis, and that is a delay that might be completely canceled out. Unstoppable Force happens extremely fast. Swain can take down people, and then of course if you have Unstoppable Force, you can also throw down the Braum ultimate and the Varus ultimate. There's a lot that UCI is bringing to the table here. Going to try to bring this into a game number 3. Is yeah, I don't like UBC's draft whatsoever. I don't like the Nidalee. The Darius is cool, but at the same time, he doesn't offer too much to the team that, say, a Gnar can offer or an Ornn can offer, which Ornn is still on the table. There's a lot that, or even a Scion. There's a lot to be lot to be desired on the side of UBC. But you know, they made that weird comp last game work with the Lee Sin being thrown in there. Nidalee could be the big factor here that really decides the game as well. And UBC, they seem skilled enough. They might just be relying on the individual talent to carry them into the finals, or the semifinals into Huntington Beach, California.
Well, we'll see if that does come to fruition or not. Now, keep in mind, this is not a team fight composition necessarily pulled out from the likes of UBC, which is one thing they were able to do pretty well, is not necessarily full-on team fights, but the grouping portion of the game, where they were just able to get together, cause some havoc around the map. That favored them very well in groups of 3, 4, so forth. This time around, the strength in numbers is definitely in the side of UCI. This is a very dangerous game for UBC to play if they group it all. The Wombo combo potential is there in spades for the likes of UCI. They have a Malphite and a Braum. The Unstoppable Force of Glacial Fissure alone can really just change the tide of a team fight. Swain and Varus as well to just wreak havoc throughout the entire interim of those fights. It's going to be insane. So I particularly doubt that they're going to let it try to get to that grouping stage for the likes of UBC, but that's a condition now they have to be very careful of.
Yeah, Nidalee and Darius, they don't want them to group. They can shut down, they can at least delay that grouping phase, that big team fight phase where you start getting these items and doing the wombo combos. Nidalee and Darius shut that down, try to aggress themselves into the mid game as fast as possible and get themselves such an advantage that UCI won't be able to react in time with the team fight. But with that said, going to be counting down with the spectator delay. My name is Joshua Fekes Quest here with Kyle Corvus Crow. You can actually hit !casters in the chat, get our Twitters, or you can just look right below us. Our Twitters are right there. And of course, go follow CSL Star League, C Star League on Twitter at twitter.com/C Star League and twitter.com/CSL LOL. Also, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/C Star League. You can also go check out any old videos, VODs, talk shows, anything like that on our YouTube at youtube.com/C Star League. We have everything there. We'll have this game there later on today as well. And of course, want to give a shout out to Twitch as well. They've been with us from the very beginning, helped grow the esports scene, and importantly, in my heart, the collegiate esports scene. Wouldn't be here without them, so give them a shout out on Facebook at facebook.com/Twitch and twitter.com/Twitch. And of course, we have a new one, Juice Battery. It's Battery Juice. What is it? Which one? Tell me, Kyle.
Juice Battery.
Juice Battery. Yeah. So if you ever
it's got the juice. Yeah.
Yeah. If you ever play any of those, any of the video games, any time whenever you're playing a video game on a console with a controller, with a wireless controller, wireless anything, it can be a mouse, can be a keyboard, and your batteries run out, that is the worst time to be a gamer. stop that sort of trend with Juice Battery. 6 hours of battery life, or at least 6 hours extended over the leading battery, I believe, and also
I saw 6 times longer.
6 times longer. That's even better.
Which is it's a bolder statement, right?
It is a bold statement, Cotton, but I think it's going to pan out for us this time around. It also charges twice as fast as well. I do know that one. And kind of going that script blind, by the way, just going by what you said. So I'm gonna end it
Mine
there.
like a steel trap, Fekes.
A very mushy steel trap that
nothing gets past you there.
Yeah, right. I certainly hope not. As we get into game number 2, best of 3, by the way. UBC up game number 1 over UCI. And remember, this is the quarterfinals. Semifinals are going to go into Huntington Beach, California. So both teams playing with purpose here as we get onto the Rift.
Yeah, they're going to be looking to make it happen. Sorry for the consistent eye scar. I've had the worst allergies today. It's just pollen city down here.
You live in Georgia, so like, I'm surprised
yeah.
you're even alive at this point with allergy season.
It's very lush, humid in Georgia, so.
Yeah, lush. Yes, it is. Fun fact:
Intensely hot.
I don't know how many people actually remember, but I lived in Atlanta for a year, and among many things that I wasn't too keen on, one of the things was the pollen count, and my wife can attest for that as well. She hated it too. So yeah, southern pollen count, not a joke whatsoever. I don't know how it is in UBC or UCI. I know how it is in Vegas. Not so bad in Vegas, but Atlanta, Georgia in general, it's pretty bad. So no worries, man.
Well, UBC in British Columbia, I mean, in the northern states right now, it's still winter in April. So
oh yeah, it's still snowing.
Further north up than UBC by just a little bit. I believe they're relatively near the border.
Yes,
I do want to say, obviously, on that western side, but
yeah, them and Simon Fraser, they're very close. They're neighbors, and they're very close to northern United States.
Well, should be definitely. This is Nivea. I love the soundtrack in the mid lane there.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy all the skins that have been coming out recently. Like, I don't think I've seen a skin that I have not enjoyed in the last like 3 years or so. They're all pretty great, and the Nivea getting rooted up there as I talk about Nivea.
Yeah.
Actually getting quite a bit of damage put onto him. Really needs to be careful against this Swain. Swain can catch you off guard and completely disrupt your entire life, because not only does he have a root, that root can also displace you and lead you into the combo just like that. So it needs to be very careful. And every time you root somebody, you can take a fragment of their soul, get yourself some health, also add onto the power of your ultimate. So it needs to be careful getting hit with those roots, because every time you do, you're making Swain that much more powerful when he hits level 6.
Just getting a little bit of strength tacked on to the end of that one, yeah. Luminous gonna feel okay. You know, obviously does have the rebirth passive, the little egg there, just to make sure that nothing goes too terribly wrong. The second chance at life. So, never something you obviously want to pop. It's gonna be interesting to see the way that Boyru can really come in and turn the tide of things if does start to get a little bit hefty in the mid lane there. I mean, that was kind of the story that we saw breaking out last game. Multitasker and Zud were really looking to find a little bit of action, and Boyru and Luminous just kind of responded to it better in the mid lane to get themselves an early lead there. So this time around, you know, the potential is there for Boyru, but if he's not on his game, you know, something even as simple as missing the first spear or, you know, not having the potency he needs to in Cougar form, that could be something where Multitasker could help to draw out an early lead. Now, that said, UCI still playing from the back foot here, still down a game in the series, and you have to wonder how that's going to affect their mentality.
Yeah, the pressure is definitely on Boyru. Going back to UBC for a split moment here. You play these aggressive champions like Nidalee, and if you're not, or even Lee Sin, you did great. You have to be aggressive. We see him invading right now. That's why Luminous is shoving up right now, to make sure that Zud cannot go help Multitasker as well, but also give Luminous the option to go help Boyru if he gets caught out in the side of Multitasker's jungle. When you play these aggressive junglers, you have to be aggressive over on the enemy side. You have to aggress onto them, and you have to try to pick up first blood somewhere and steal away camps and just outpace the enemy jungler. That's the entire point of playing these types of junglers like Lee Sin, like Nidalee. But on the top side, speaking of aggression, look at that.
Yeah, Mirror Knight really handing it to Frozen Qualia there. You talk about, oh, hang on, we'll get to that in a second, because look at this, Multitasker. Actually, Luminous helps him out with the wall, pinning himself between a rock and a hard place. Multitasker should have the egg here. It's going to be the roam in from Zud
enough.
as well. Yeah, he's going to resurrect here, but oh, never mind. Holy cow, look at that burst. I thought he had the time to resurrect, but I was going to say even if he does, it's not going to matter. This time, First Blood going soundly over to the hands of the jungler from UCI. Woo! Look at that, though. Mirror Knight just absolutely decimating on in. We talked about Darius needing that early aggression. That's it right there. That's it in spades. He just absolutely slammed Frozen Qualia into the ground there. Frozen, no idea it was coming. Maybe could have tried to bait something out, but the element of surprise and the strong mechanical play that has been the hallmark of UBC really making up for any potential holes that might be in their draft. They don't need it. It's okay. They're in such good shape, just as good as they are as players.
Yeah, that is very true. With Moiru falling down, you have another early game aggressive champion to rely on. Mirror Knight, Darius, doing very well. Spin to win on that top side with the flash. That means he is going to be vulnerable on that top side, and Trundle does very well exploiting that vulnerability of a Darius because he has no gap closer. You throw the Pillar of Ice down, that means that he has to walk all the way around it while also being slowed. Or he could just turn and fight, which a lot of Dariuses do. So you're going to see how that turns out on the top side. Needs to be careful, needs to place those wards, take full advantage of having that aggression, keeping Frozen Aqualia against his turret. That gives you the ability to go ward whenever you can. But
ooh, it's another good pillar. Yeah, no, multitasking. Returning to the scene of the crime, they know that there is no egg there. That said, Luminous with a better wall this time, keeping themselves in good shape. Tower damage means Multitasker's in a little bit of trouble. Moiru was trying to get in there at the right time, but now Russian Guy and not Baka getting the stun down on. It's only on to Regis there on the Taric, so they're not too thrilled with it. We'll see how this bot lane continues to pan out because it's pretty even across the board in CS right now. Pretty even in the blows that they're passing back and forth. I like the restraint I'm seeing from both supports here, Russian Guy and Regis. They're really helping to facilitate their ADs this time around, and it's another Infernal Drake to kick us off this game, so bot lane becoming all the more important. Yeah, this is a defensive, unstoppable force, but the flashes are in and traded. Very dangerous to be low health under your own tower from Boyru, but makes it out in one piece. Still not going to be too keen on losing that flash.
He's going to lose that flash. He also used Unstoppable Force. That means he's not going to be able to set up any plays against Mirror Knight if Multitasker comes up. And he also does not have Teleport, so he's going to be losing out on quite a bit of farm experience and gold here. So big advantage over to Mirror Knight on that top side. Now with that said, he needs to be able to use that. He's going to go proxy the wave, it looks like, and just make sure he denies as much as possible to Frozen Qualia on that top side. I think I called him Aqualia earlier, so I'm gonna correct that this time around. But yeah, Mirror Knight setting himself up in a great position to get into this mid game because the Darius that's rolling is a Darius that's very scary. We have an invade coming out here though.
Ooh yeah, Multitasker trying to get over to this. Doesn't have flash, but the blast cone will get him at least back to Krugs. That said, it's out of the frying pan and into the fire as Makoto there. Red buff transfer complete is going to thank Multitasker very much for farming that one out for him. Boyru not going to get a chance at that either, and so red buff now onto the Kaisa in the bot lane. Not going to feel too good if you are not Baka and Russian Guy, let alone the kill now that's going to set Makoto pretty far ahead here in this lane.
Yeah, Makoto has not went back yet. Finally going to go back. Has 2,400 in his pocket, so he's going to come back extremely powerful. And yeah, with that red buff as well. And when you're somebody like a Varus who doesn't have a gap closer, doesn't have an escape, that red buff is going to hurt so much more because now you have to walk it out. And that with that red buff slow, it's going to be even harder. Makoto just going to pelt away at you. Of course, Russian Guy has to be there, really back up, not Baka at that point. So very nice pickup by Makoto and Boyru in the jungle of Multitasker. It's going to be able to... And by the way, that was actually Multitasker invading without having vision. Let's keep that in mind. He invaded prematurely, did not have much vision around the enemy jungler's buff. Also, there was no position for not Baka and Russian Guy to come up and help him. That's one of the things you have to keep in mind whenever you invade. Make sure your laners can come help you. That's something that the bot lane of UCI could not do.
I think he just severely underestimated the potential for Luminous to come through without a Nivea wall. Right, because that really did prevent him from getting the blast cone over to the Dragon Pit, where he would have been potentially a lot safer. He did that without his flash. He was taking quite a few risks, and Luminous really putting up the wall that definitely sealed his fate there. So, really good play. I think that's kind of the best situation possible, actually, for the likes of UBC to get that kill over to Makoto. I think that's just a nice little bit of serendipity, but look at that. Meanwhile, Infernal Drake sneak away, this time going into the hands of UCI as they're trying to play the objective game a little earlier.
That's one of the advantages of having red side, is that you're able to get that access to that open pit a little bit easier than you would if you're on blue side. You have to use a flower just to get out, and if you're caught in the pit, you have to flash out. That's something that you don't have to do when you're on red side. Might have an engage here, but with no stun, not going to happen. But very nice advantage taken by Multitasker to pick up that first Drake, that being the Infernal. Very important. And hopefully, we're going to see if UCI can use that in the mid game.
This is a really pretty stand behind me, coming out from Russian guy just to get out of that one in one piece. He dodged the stun with the Braum W, and that's never the easiest task, even if you know it's coming. Just getting into range and timing it right can be a little tricky. Now look at there on the screen, another Infernal Drake coming up. Next one on the docket here, so that'll be right around 16 minutes, which will be, you know, pretty effective for double Infernals to start scaling. We'll still probably only have 1 or 2 players at that 2-item mark, but either way, it's going to feel really nice if the side of UCI can get that one for themselves. If not, if UBC just, you know, balance things back out. Obviously, a lot can happen in 6 minutes here, but either of these teams would be very happy to claim that prize for themselves. I like that Multitasker actually went back to that Dragon Pit. I want to touch on that first. He died on the opposing side jungle to the enemy jungler, mid laner, and ADC. You think that's when UBC is just going to run straight for that dragon because, hey, they know they've killed the jungler. They know the resistance really isn't there. They didn't have the health bars they maybe wanted because he was really able to dish a lot of damage to Boyru. But without UBC taking that dragon, they run back Multitasker. He gets to the dragon himself, and I feel like they were caught entirely unaware.
You know, they definitely were. There was not much vision being thrown down by UBC, and again, that's just the advantage of having the red side, as we see Multitasker. Oh, bad time to engage.
Oh no, that is very well baited. They're going to pop out the ultimate, the Cosmic Radiance. Will it be enough as the teleport comes down? Another one to follow, so both top laners should channel through. They actually cancel on the side of UBC, and this means Frozen Qualia is there. Does have the Unstoppable Force, elects not to use it. They have the Wombo and the combo, but they neither want to come through. Mirror Knight did channel through, I'm sorry. Looked like he was not at the time. It was Luminous that canceled the teleport.
Luminous actually got interrupted by Zud. Zud kept him in place with his, excuse me.
Beautiful.
Yeah, with his root and displacement. So yeah, ways to teleport by Luminous all around. Very nice placement. Nice awareness by Zud to make him stay in lane.
Well, all in all, it's a little bit of a defuse into the situation now. We thought we might start to see it boil over. The temperature has gone down instead. So they're back just to playing a game of Bloody Knuckles here in the mid lane. Zud having a better game this time around against Luminous than he was last time, but as this Swain, staying even is not necessarily what you're looking for. You really want to find advantages and press him out pretty hard.
Yeah, he hasn't really roamed, hasn't gotten any sort of advantage overall. He's up 2 farm, but that doesn't really equate to anything at all. One of the ideas of mid lane nowadays is to shove out as fast as possible, roam to the bot side or top side with your jungler. That's something Luminous can do as Anivia very well. Obviously, Anivia is very known for farming. Zud has a little bit of trouble until he starts getting the items and levels. He just finished his Rod of Ages, so he's not going to be able to do it as fast, but still can do it decently. Not faster and not as hard as an Anivia, as Luminous is Anivia, and that might be why he hasn't really been too aggressive. He's just been focused a lot on farming and keeping up with the Anivia, knowing that that's kind of Anivia's forte, is farming.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been integral to the champion, even back in, gosh, I'll never forget Season 2.
Yeah.
Before the game existed. Okay, hang on. We may have a little bit of damage coming down here. They want to get in onto Boyru. It's another nice ice wall there coming out from Luminous. It wasn't exactly perfect, but it did, I think, block off the last little bit of damage that Multitasker may have been able to get onto Boyru. A little bit of an afterthought there. Brush across the plate to say, hey, I know Anivia's here. I don't want to worry about it.
We've been seeing him use those walls quite often, and to great use as well, being able to block off Multitasker. There's something that UCI, hold on.
Ooh, yeah, Mirror Knight didn't spin at the right time, unfortunately, but Frozen Qualia going to get pulled back into this one. I don't think the dunk is going to be enough here. Frozen Qualia is in decent shape. The bleed will take out a little bit more of that health, but they actually may be looking to set up the pinch. It's the Unstoppable Force coming in. The pillar as well, and Mirror Knight nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Multitasker finds his second kill of the game, and second one for UCI entirely.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate thing, and that's what I was getting at with Anivia walls. It actually is kind of true to Darius as well. None of these, not many champions have gap closers. Multitasker, Zud, Baka does not have any sort of gap closer or jump or anything. So Anivia walls are extremely important in this matchup. Now, with that being said, Mirror Knight, if he's on the wrong side of town and he gets caught out, he's going to be in trouble as well, as we see Zud going in
walls
hard.
down at the right time. Actually, this could be interesting if Multitasker can get in. The pillar is flashed over preemptively. Luminous knew exactly what was coming. Didn't maybe expect this one, but speaking of unexpected, here comes Boyru and Multitasker and Zud trying to do something about it, but Cosmic Radiance is down. Doesn't matter. Flash out. Frozen Qualia is here. He wants to find more, perhaps. Does not have the unstoppable force from last time, but look at that. It's flashed out. The Chain of Corruption almost, and Luminous just on the edge of the knife there does survive. Wouldn't have been the worst in the world, as he does have that passive on cooldown anyway, but look at this. It's priority around Drake right at the time. Perfect for that mountain, or I'm sorry, Infernal Drake on the docket here. Who's going to get it? Looks
Second
like
one for UCI if they get it.
Yeah, this is bad for UCI actually, because they did send 2 members back. It's their solo laners, a hefty source of their damage.
Teleport.
They're just looking to buy time. Yeah, that teleport actually. We'll see if Luminous can make it happen. Forces 2 flashes and a spear to boot means that not Baka possibly not going to want to get himself involved in this. They do say, hey, we potentially need to stick around, but this dragon's dying way too fast.
Yeah, it's going to go down extremely quickly with Luminous and Makoto there. That's going to be 1 Infernal Drake to 1 Infernal Drake now, so very nice pickup. Nice drive, nice return by UBC. Mirror Knight, he didn't have to use his teleport, actually went back and came over to the mid lane. So he still has his teleports on cooldown. Actually, his and Frozen Qualia's are going to be up relatively the same time. Expect to see a little bit more action coming out from those, as Frozen Qualia he's not going to be, I don't think he's ever going to be in a position to really duel out Darius. That's kind of Darius's MO, is that you are able to 1v1 almost anybody on the top side with your just raw power.
With the relative items, yeah.
Yeah, Frozen Qualia is just building straight up. Look at his items. He's building just straight up armor right now. He's gonna have to change that into something very quickly, an Abyssal Mask of some sort after laning phase, because both Boyru and Luminous have quite a bit of magic damage.
Yeah, I feel like they're really trying to hold out a little bit and put that effort onto Multitasker, because you can see him building the Aegis of the Legion there. Obviously going to build that out a little further, provide the protection resistances that his team is going to need. That said, they got to do it pretty quickly. They did have the 2-kill Trundle. They opt for a defensive build on him instead of allowing him to start snowballing the kills that he has, and so it's an investment. We'll see if it pays off. You can tell this means UCI still putting a lot of respect onto this UBC squad, and for good reason after that first game.
Yeah, they have very talented individual laners, but we see, the back is really stopped. Frozen Qualia.
Yeah, backing on a ward there.
He's not going to be
He's got his summoners to get out.
Yeah,
he might be okay.
He's going to be fine. I mean, Mirror Knight has his summoners as well, but there's also unstoppable force to get himself out. And this battle in the mid lane, it has been even all game number 2. 17:45 seconds into this game right now.
That gold is within pieces of one of the. I mean,
so
it's like a 2 gold advantage right now for Luminous, and I have no idea why, because they're dead even in minions. But look at this, we might have a little bit of action going down. Nice wall to trap Zud, but he's okay. The spear potential from Boyru as he wants to get on that one, but doubt anything will come of it. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's a slight gold advantage now, actually, coming over for Luminous there. But, hang on. We don't get to talk about this. We have more action as Makoto in a little bit of trouble there. Teleport coming down. Russian guy here trying to make the damage where it could be found. They do not have to worry about Mirror Knight getting in. He finds a 2-man pull, but he's knocked up himself. He's going to be blown up very quickly here. Multitasker finds that kill. That's Frozen Qualia. Maybe wants to help continue to push this one out. They do need to be very careful with Boyru here. In the meantime, it is going to be Multitasker back into it. Not Baka finds Boyru. They're going to find a third one. Double kill coming out for Not Baka. He's going to be feeling great about that one. And look at this. Luminous is here, but in no time to be of any help. And they almost found Frozen Qualia, but in the end, it was actually the UCI able to come out of that one very strongly in the lead. Feeling pretty good about themselves from that last fight. And bringing the gold now. just to a 500 deficit.
Frozen Quillia is going to have the advantage every time he teleports with Mirror Knight, simply because of his kit. He has Unstoppable Force, which is a massive team fight asset for the side of UCI. Mirror Knight, he's more of a, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to get in your face and kill you, I'm going to do it by myself. That's not how you really operate in League of Legends whenever it's 4v1, as we see Luminous getting aggressive on here.
Oh boy, yeah, this could be bad. This is probably at least the egg popped, but he does need to be careful. It's actually a good stun channel through regardless, as it does push him off. They shove the egg back a little bit, and Zud, facing 3 very angry British Columbians, will have to back off of that one.
There we go.
Yeah, Frozen Quillia and Mirror Knight. There's the dunk coming down. The flash out of that one. Will Bleed alone get him? And the answer is yes! Does find it Mirror Knight. Believing that that one would be the case, so the dunk did seal the deal. It was just a matter of time. And Frozen Quillia did bleed out. I'm not sure really how a rock bleeds, but we'll suspend our disbelief on that one for a little bit. Yeah, if anyone can make it happen. Now, meanwhile, Luminous with a good wall and a good flash to get out of that one.
He's on the wrong side of town, though.
Enemy territory, yeah. The tower was destroyed in the top lane. Mirror Knight is down there. The cavalry has come, and now Russian guy in some trouble. Boyru finds an easy solo kill. And when things start to look up, hang on a second, not Baka, are you kidding me? Almost taken out. In fact, Makoto will finish that one off. The Killer Instinct brought it 90% of the way, and the flash forward did the rest of the work. And so this, Fekez, is what we talked about in the picks and bans. When they grouped up, it was definitely UCI that had the advantage, but in this split up kind of around town game, UBC with the strong lanes and the pick champions really been dishing out the hurt.
I would really like to see UBC rely more on a team fight team comp, or at least a team-oriented team comp, but right now they're running a lot of individual solo lane skill. Obviously, Boyru here with, hold on, we might actually have more action. This game's non-stop.
Yeah. I mean, really,
there
just... It was a slower start to it, but now, yeah, we're really getting into it, and it's what we all like to see here, of course.
Yeah.
5-5 at 21 minutes, not the most insane thing in the world. The first 2 towers just found, actually, by UBC. Hang on, there's the Unstoppable Force. No egg for Luminous this time. Will go down. Frozen Quillia takes that kill out and away. The credit for himself in his first of the game. And here's Mirror Knight, finds the dunk, resets Abundant, but look at that! Nice CC juggle. I mean, Judd gets the kill onto that one, and Boyru will be back. The stun help potentially from Regis. Will it mean enough? The answer is likely no, as Multitasker still trying to move in, but Cosmic Radiance gonna buy Boyru the exact few seconds he needs, but it's not enough as not Baka finds that kill. A second one coming down, and the punches continue. Triple kill for not Baka. And just like that, UCI strike back and in time for Baron.
UBC needs to learn how to disengage. That is something they have not been able to do this entire game. Every time, even in bot lane team fights, they have been getting some sort of advantage, getting it turned onto him. Hold on, Luminous here. He has a teleport. He teleported in.
Yeah, does want to come in. He's just going to look to buy some time. They cannot afford to lose anyone, but Russian guy goes down, not Baka.
Stops the Baron.
Close as well, but the Baron is stopped. He sacrifices his life, but finds Russian guy in the process. And I think that's going to be worth a teleport 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, it does stop the Baron, so that stops the massive gold lead. That could get in the favor of UCI. Let's keep in mind, there are still 2 towers taken by UBC. They are 2 towers up over UCI right now, so they have the gold advantage. A Baron would definitely swing that in the opposite favor, or in the opposite direction in favor of UCI. And UBC, yeah, they have great, strong mechanical players as far as their champions are concerned here. With the Kaisa, with the Nidalee, with the Darius, but man, they need to learn how to disengage team fights, because once they're caught, they keep going back in. And now
I said it before, I'll say it again. They drafted a little bit cocky-wise in terms of their players. Now, hang on. Reggie's gonna get a stun to get on out of that one. Russian guy trying to get in onto Makoto, finds the 2 stacks of the Braum passive, but not the rest. Now they want to get in onto Boyru. The Dragon will do a lot of that work for them, and look at the root. The knockback means Reggie's is gonna die that one, and they push him right off the Dragon. The ward is down. Multitasker doesn't care, as he does have the sweeper. They want to find Luminous. The wall's only gonna buy themselves some more time on the side of UCI. They still back off the Dragon, but they know they can't worry too much because it's not gonna reset. They're just continuing this one on out. This is what we talked about in a full-on team fight setting. UCI, just on merit of their composition, are going to have the advantage, and that has not been respected by UBC. They drafted a split comp. They drafted a comp that needs to catch members out in individual circumstances, and while they've executed on that okay, they just really haven't been able to push it over the edge thus far.
Not at all, not yet. As we see the Baron going over to UCI, they have the Gold League now. That is something that UBC has been fearing this entire time, as their team comp is falling apart on the individual basis, because it is a team game, and that is something that UCI is playing right now very well. They have, like you said, a massive team comp, and now they're just going to push into these turrets and try to bring this into a game number 3. There's still a little ray of hope for UBC, but it is getting more and more dim as the game goes on.
I really want to say and touch on the point here for UCI. They are heating up in the right places at the right times. It's 7-1-1 for Not Baka. I mean, he's definitely been the star player. But those 2 kills onto Zud, as well as the farm that he's been able to accrue thus far, it's not been the craziest thing in the world, but he's certainly relevant at over 200 at 25 minutes here. They really are. Their damage dealers are coming online at the right time. They're feeling pretty good about where they are in terms of their tank play. You know, Brahms finding those items he's got. The Righteous Glory, not the Righteous Glory, the Knight's Vow, I'm sorry, protect both helmets, and the Eye of the Aspect, both completed at the right times, as well as the Sunfire Cape and a little bit of, MR coming out for Frozen Qualia. So all in all, itemization really in a good spot for UCI.
Yeah, not to mention they just have innate tanky players. Of course, Malphite has his stacking armor and does get stats from stacking the armor, and Braum does have his big shield. That reduces a lot of damage as well, so they're just innately tanky champions. And also, let's not forget, Multitasker, he does have Subjugate, make himself even more tanky by taking the stats away from the enemy. So just a great draft overall.
Ooh, they're grouping again.
They are.
Only Frozen Qualia.
There's grouping in the mid lane while grouping in the bot lane for UCI. UCI are just split pushing this. They're going to win this one because they have the power advantage right now. And UBC, they have to answer back, and I don't know if they can win a team fight right now.
Well, the teleport is there from Qualia. He can also roam down the Baron minions as well. That's something they're trying to maximize. This tower should be in trouble. It's a game of walls from both sides, but it was a better wall today by Multitasker to prevent them. It was just a pillar on his part, and that's 3 towers they found in the span of just a few seconds here. UCI feeling a little bit better. They've got some momentum. They need to keep building it. They also need to reset in this top lane. Now might not be a bad time to send a member back. One with teleport that could join you if need be, but they know that their strength is in numbers, and so they're going to use that to find themselves an inner mid lane turret as well. This is big. They want to find it in. Look at this. Bad news for Luminous. The egg's not going to keep him alive for long. They're going to find a lot of knockups. The invulnerabilities are there. Regis is going to be the next one to fall. Mirror Knight trying to get one, but it's just rushing guy, and Not Baka popping Appa with a double kill. He's pushing on through. That's going to be 1 down as well for Multitasker, and UCI blow things wide open. They will find themselves an inhibitor. They lose 1 and their health bars are low.
They can just finish this.
Man alive, they have pushed through. They have some time. They decide to try to finish it.
They have a cannon.
He has the teleport. They have the teleport. It looks like they want to try to find this one. Tower number 1 gonna fall down. Tower number 2 not long for this world either. And ladies and gentlemen, UCI answer back definitively. It was 25.5 minutes for UBC. It took UCI exactly 2 minutes longer, but they're not going to care because they're pushing us over the edge to a game number 3 in this best of 3 series. Next one takes it all.
Yeah, there was nothing on the team comp for UBC to be able to get to answer any of the team fight that UCI brought to the table. Not to mention, when there were team fights, there's really nothing that UBC could have done to get back to the carries. Not Baka, that last team fight underneath that turret, he wasn't touched whatsoever. He was just standing back, taking, just shooting whatever he wanted, because Mirror Knight, he has to walk over to him. He's not going to be able to do that. There was so much power on the side of Not Baka that he's just destroying Mirror Knight, destroying Regis, sorry about that. And Luminous might have been able to have a little bit of damage, but he can't get to the backlines without dying. So a big front line for UCI they took full advantage of and absolutely destroyed UBC with.
Yeah, no, I mean, insane game, insane turnarounds. What you love to see in a best of series, especially when the first game is arguably so one-sided as like what we had with UBC in their first win. So really the rally that you want coming out of UCI. And now I'm sitting here feeling like this is anyone's series at this point. And the question's on our mind, does UCI have the momentum or can UBC correct the mistakes again, they won by 12k gold in a shorter amount of time. It was a much more dominant win from UBC, but this time around, they looked lost. Will they be able to come back? Will UCI put all the finishing touches on this? Find out next time on CSL after the break. We're going to take a few minutes to give these players some time to breathe, and we will be right back. Don't go anywhere.